Hello, I'm Simon Whistler, you're watching the Today I Found Out YouTube channel, and in the video today we're looking at why the windows aren't aligned with the rows of seats in an airplane. While airplane manufacturers do design the planes with general row positioning and pitch, the measurement from one seat to the exact same point on the seat in front or behind it in mind, with the windows often lining up with the seats, the designer's exact recommended arrangement is rarely, if ever, followed. You see, the final placement of seats is left up to the individual airlines that purchase the plane. To make seating arrangements as flexible as possible for the airlines, there are multiple tracks on the floor that the seats are mounted on. This allows the seats to be easily moved closer together or farther apart. The airlines can even switch the aisle arrangement via moving a line of seats to a completely different track. For example, on some versions of the Boeing 777, Boeing recommends a layout of 3 + 3 + 3 with a 32-inch, 81.2 centimeter pitch for economy passengers. In this layout, you need a passenger density of 67% before a passenger may be required to sit next to someone else. And if some passengers choose to sit next to one another, the percentage is even higher before other passengers must sit next to someone. Boeing recommends this layout because in internal studies they've conducted, they claim that one of the biggest factors in passenger perception of comfort on a flight is whether there is someone directly next to them or not. Nevertheless, disregarding the manufacturer recommendation, pitch on a given class of seats on the 777 varies from airline to airline, resulting in the seats not necessarily lining up with the windows, and it is not uncommon for airlines to choose to go with an arrangement of 2 + 5 + 2 in economy on this plane, which requires only a passenger load of 55% before people potentially have to start sitting next to each other. For reference, United Airlines flies at around a 70 to 75% passenger load per flight on average. On that note, as is readily apparent to anyone who's flown recently, for various reasons, airlines are increasingly less about the comfort of their customers, who often have little other choice but to take planes for fast, long-distance travel, and they're much more about how much money can be sucked out of each flight. Since passenger seating is the biggest moneymaker for airlines, they try to cram as many seats, and therefore as many potential customers as possible on a plane. Beyond profitability, this also allows them to be more competitive with their pricing to try to get customers to choose them over a competitor. This is particularly important for relatively short flights where customers will almost always pick ticket price over comfort, no matter how much they'll complain later about the miserable flight. Towards this end, only a few decades ago, the average pitch between seats on a commercial aircraft was 34 inches, that's 86.3 centimeters, but today has diminished to just 31 inches, that's 78.7 centimeters. Even 28 inches, 71 centimeter pitch seats are now being introduced into flights. Airlines are not only shrinking the pitch between seats, but also in some cases the width, despite the general populace's ever-expanding girth. For instance, while 18 inches, 45.7 centimeters or more was once the norm for economy class, 18.5 inches still being the recommendation by Boeing for economy seats on the 777, rows as narrow as 16.7 inches, that's 42.4 centimeters, are not unheard of today. For your reference, the average adult's shoulder width is approximately 16 inches, though of course varies significantly from person to person and whether that person is male or female. If narrowed enough on certain planes, this allows for an extra seat in each row. For example, the Airbus A330 was designed to have 8 seats in a row, but it's not uncommon for airlines to use thinner than the recommended width of seats to accommodate 9 seats in a row on this aircraft. And if you were wondering, according to Cynthia Corbett of the FAA, there is no set rule for how many passengers and seats can be crammed into a commercial aircraft, and the exit rows are even allowed to have the seats block the exit by up to 50%. The only caveat is that the FAA requires all commercial aircraft to be able to be fully evacuated in less than 90 seconds with half of the exits blocked. This must be demonstrated by manufacturers in both computer simulations and in live tests. So the next time you're on a plane and the window doesn't line up with your seat, know that the reason this is the case is because the airline used a different seating plan than the plane was originally designed for, generally in an effort to cram more seats into the aircraft. And don't forget to stretch your legs and flex your leg muscles occasionally on a long-distance flight in whatever way you can manage, given the tight quarters. The ever-diminishing legroom aboard commercial flights is resulting in more incidents of flight-induced venous thrombosis, so regular stretching and movement while flying just might save your life. And now for a bonus fact. Two of history's most influential figures, Abraham Lincoln and Charles Darwin, were born just hours apart from one another on February 12, 1809, though separated by the Atlantic, with Lincoln born in a one-room cabin in Hardin County, Kentucky, and Darwin born in his family's home in Shrewsbury, England. They also both lost their mothers at a very young age, within about a year and a half of one another. Nancy Lincoln died in 1818 and Susanna Darwin in 1817. While these two titans of history never met, they did share a common view on the institution of slavery, with Darwin noting in a letter in 1861, "Some few and I am one. Even wish to God, though at the loss of millions of lives, that the North would proclaim a crusade against slavery. In the long run, a million horrid deaths would be amply repaid in the cause of humanity. What wonderful times we live in. Great God, how I should like to see that greatest curse on earth, slavery, abolished." So I really hope you found that video interesting. If you did, please do give us a like below, and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already for more videos just like this. And if you've got a burning question that you would like us to answer in a video just like this, please let us know in the comments below. And if you see a question down there that someone else suggested that you liked, give it a thumbs up and then it will rise to the top and we might just make that video. Also, check out some of our other videos over there on the right, and thank you for watching.